Hi, this is Vinney Chopra. Thank you for again joining on my podcast, Apartment Syndication Made Easy. As you know, I wrote that book, which is a top seller in Amazon. Internationally also got a lot of acclaim, reviews and all. And this podcast is about syndication, about commercial investing. I like to bring great guests for you and dig into their story, their successes, and find out some nuggets from them so that you could really enjoy them and learn from them and then implement them. Hello, friends. Vinney's back. Vinney Chopra, as you know, I come live to you. Well, not live, many times live. I come on Friday, by the way. It's 9:30 a.m. Pacific. Vinney and Bo show I've been doing for a couple of years, live streaming in 17 channels. And then we do podcast and then YouTube and all the different, messages you are getting. And I hope you're liking it. This is the show that I do. And we got a great personality here today in the studio with me. And that's Chad Sutton. I got a chance to meet Chad. By the way, I'm in over here, Japan. My Fuji's, no, I'm just kidding. Right here in the studio, actually next door neighbor, very good friends of ours, Rupam and Rohit Khanna. They've been living and they had Chad and also Aaron from Quattro and also Emily and Jake. Great people over the weekend. And I got the pleasure to meet with you. Chad, how are you, brother?
Man, brother, I am doing very well. I'm pretending I'm back in San Francisco, or at least back over in California, because I love that area of the country so much. It was wonderful meeting you there. And I'm going to try to wear my biggest smile today because I'm standing next to the most smiley person in the world. So I have to try to keep up, my friend.
Oh my gosh. I had so much fun. Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, thanks to Khanna's for inviting me, and I couldn't make to the event that you guys put together and you raised a lot of money. Oh my gosh, $120,000 or $150,000.
Yes, for a very specific cause. We were at a 180 Elevate event that Dr. Rupam Khanna is kind of heading up as her nonprofit organization. And it is all about connect, grow, give. And, we were able to raise money for a couple of good causes that I won't say on the air, but fantastic to see people, really put money back out into the universe to help people,
That's so wonderful. So wonderful. This life is to give and make it a better place. And when we leave, and we all have to leave. Maybe we'll live to 100, 200 years, maybe, with what is happening with the med tech and all the technology.
That's right.
And everything. But let me introduce you, brother. I was so fascinated when you showed me the card. What a beautiful card. I also signed up. And now my team is building the profile. That was an amazing card. Maybe you want to share a little bit about that. But you know what? Your main passion was that you loved aircraft and you became aerospace engineer with NASA. And then, of course, you live in Nashville, Tennessee. I have big heritage with Nashville, Tennessee myself because of the Southwestern Company and all. But share with me, and then now you're managing partner with Quattro Capital, very beautiful company, syndicating company in the multifamily field, one of the best. And so excited. And you have, lovely, wife. And you say she's the most intelligent lady. I read all that, beautiful and intelligent.
That is very correct. Yes.
And the guitar in the background. And you're an avid book reader. Yes.
Yes. So where should I start? That you make my bio sound so much more interesting than it is.
It is, brother. I've been reading all this, getting ready. And today I have Mark Victor Hansen also on my show later on today. And I'm kind of preparing my notes for him and Crystal also. It's going to be fantastic, and go out.
Yeah.
Ken Walls have introduced me and all that. But no, take me back. So you grew up in Nashville or no?
Actually, Vinney, I grew up in Texas, so another great market, but I grew up in the Austin area before Austin was as big as it is now. It was, of course, always a big city. Grew up down there. And, I was one of those children, Vinney, who always played with Legos and erector sets and things. So I had that brain of constructing and building and seeing how things worked. I think my mother loves to tell the story. By the way, my mother, Tammy, is one of the managing partners in Quattro Capital, if you know her already. She loves to tell the story about when I reverse engineered a lawnmower and built it out of Connects, and the blade would spin. I mean, this was when I was like 7. So I've always had that nerdy tendency of engineering, right? Always been good with numbers. So what did I do? Everyone told me you should be engineer. And so I became an engineer, and I followed in that path and really found a love and a passion for aircraft, Vinney. And I really love things that fly. I actually wanted to be a pilot first, but sadly I had some ear pressurization problems, and the things I wanted to fly, that was not going to be an option. So I went into to build them instead.
Hi, you are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinney Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9:30 Pacific with Vinney and Bo show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you.
That led me down education paths in Tennessee, so I actually moved to Tennessee and went to University of Tennessee, got a great aerospace engineering degree from a great program, and found work with NASA actually in, a very interesting time. You guys remember the Great Recession? That was when I came into the workforce as an engineer. So I spent, the first couple of years of my life working as an engineer for NASA, working on big rocket space shuttle program.
Oh, wow.
Some really cool toys, things that go boom. But all good things must come to an end. The space shuttle program was no longer a continued venture of the United States government. And so I transferred to the private sector, where I worked for large companies like General Electric, building aircraft engines. So the rest of my engineering career was really things that fly around on planet Earth rather than the outer space region, but still very cool. So in Vinney, what I'll pivot with here, I really enjoyed what I did for a long time. I worked on really neat toys, big things that go boom. I did hardcore engineering work. I was a team leader. I did everything like that. But then what I realized is I'm only a highly paid laborer, right? And what I also realized is, as an engineer, I am a necessary evil for a company, right? If companies could develop products without engineering staffs, they would do so. Right? We are a necessary evil. So I was always feeling compressed time. I was always realizing I'm a slave to the company. And the higher I went in the company, which that's a whole nother story, as I elevated in the company, I realized, wow, I'm climbing a ladder with a target on my back. What can I do differently?
Wow.
Stepping back a minute, though, that's all the professional stuff. I am married to a beautiful woman who is much more intelligent than me. She is in the medical field, renowned renowned pharmacist, doctor of pharmacy in Vanderbilt Children's Community. So does wonderful things. 2 beautiful children that we have made together. And, the biggest question in my mind is how to teach them everything I've learned in a way that they will, absorb and appreciate and use that going forward. But anyway, back to you for a second, Vinney.
No. I'm so glad you are talking all those. When did you develop the love of guitar and music and all? When you moved
Yes. So it was probably junior high when my father moved, his career moved us to Nashville, Tennessee from Austin, Texas. I wasn't happy about it at the time, but I'm very happy about it now. And I probably picked up the guitar for the first time when I was in the 7th grade, not long after we moved. And it's been a love affair ever since. So what you don't see behind me on San Francisco Bridge here, or Golden Gate Bridge, I have several guitars on the wall. Nashville is a wonderful place where everywhere is filled with amazing musicians, that even people playing at church are radio worthy, right? They're all fantastic musicians. So what I will say is, I am an enthusiast, because when you say you're a musician in Nashville, it means something, Vinney, right? So it's a lot of fun. I play classical guitar. I play a little flamenco. I play 80s rock. And surprisingly, I really don't play country music as much living in Nashville. I do like it, but I don't play it very much. So it's just a hobby, right?
Oh, nice. Very nice. Like you mentioned about Austin. Look at where Austin is now.
Austin is incredible. Yes. It's almost not even attainable to the investment world unless you're.
So true. I got lucked out. I might have shared in 2020 during COVID, because the property in Florida was doing so well, and they were engineers. I'm a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
And 98% of the collections we were doing at the Princeton Park property. And I said, oh my gosh, engineers are the best people right now with the COVID happening. They can work from home, right? And they were paying rents and everything. I said, let me go to Austin. And luckily we got 308 units. And my gosh, I have never had a home run like that. I just not really, I shouldn't be bragging myself, because it's just the market went,
Yeah, it is just sharing.
Exactly. And it's gone up like almost 80% or something in a year and a half. That's just mind boggling. But Nashville also is growing like crazy, brother.
I would agree.
Knoxville, I bought a deal in Knoxville last year, and we increased the rents by $495 per month, and still we are doing very, very well, 96% occupied. Tell me more about, field in Nashville. Do you all own properties there, or where do you mostly invest in your? Let's come back to the real estate then. How did
the real stuff? Yes, the real estate. So yes, Quattro Capital, we are an alternative investment firm. These days we're focusing in multifamily real estate. That's what makes sense right now. And I still think it makes sense for a time to come, despite headwinds some of us are feeling in costs and pricing. But nonetheless, we are invested everywhere from the Texas Triangle. So from Austin down to San Antonio over to Houston, and you go all the way as far as the North Carolina Triangle, Charlotte, Greensboro, and Raleigh, right? And then everything in between. We're in Tennessee, we're in Georgia, we're in Alabama, we're getting into Kentucky. We have a little bit in the bottom of Evansville. So what do all those things have in common, right? They are wonderful markets where it is pro-business, taxation is relatively low, relatively landlord friendly. And the key is there is high amounts of net in-migration, people moving in because they follow the jobs. That means number of households rises and therefore rents rise. This is all stuff you can learn in Vinney's wonderful program. But, I think we have a very large concentration in and around the Tennessee markets. We don't have anything in Nashville. Everyone has a hard time with their own backyard, right? In my opinion, it's a little too high, and I have a hard time getting things to pencil. But we have plenty of stuff in and around that are supported by Nashville. Huntsville, Alabama. We have Clarksville, Tennessee. We have Knoxville, Chattanooga. And there are just fantastic plays, and Vinney said something very, very important. In Austin, his tenant base, the ones who basically could work from home, i.e., what are we all working on right now? A computer. Those who have computer-based jobs wind up being a very good resident base for uncertainty, right? They're typically a little more flexible than someone who has to go to a physical location. So a lot of our resident bases we're targeting these days, we've done a lot of your C-class to B-class conversions. That was great. But mainly what we're targeting for us and our investors right now, it's all about filling the niche or the vacancy, if you will, pun intended, in the housing market where, there may be a little more of a spread between new product and class B products, maybe 1980s. We're trying to fill that B plus A minus niche.